My first book was my thesis, my MFA thesis, as it ought to be. Our first books really should be our MFA theses, and that's the point of an MFA program. In it, as I was writing, I kind of came upon this metaphor, or probably Connie came upon this metaphor and then revealed it to me, of the idea of my mother. And my mother was paralyzed for a lot of my life, but sometimes when she could walk, she was always kind of like pushing forward and dragging her leg behind her on the carpet. And in many ways, she became a kind of metaphor for my book of the immigrant, of that which is trying to push forward as something is pulling it back. And I talk to a lot of my own students now. I feel so privileged to be teaching in an MFA program myself. And always when it comes to the third year, they're like, oh my God, how do I pull this book together under one single theme? And I'm always like, check it. It doesn't have to be a theme. And they're like, I didn't think I was writing under one whole thing or one material. And I'm like, that doesn't matter, right? If you're writing intensely for a number of years, you have a set of concerns that's pulling you forward as you're writing. And like in my second book, I realized that there were so many different things going on with it. Like, how do I reconcile these things that appeared like opposites? The water of my Philippines, for example, with the desert, with the dryness of my desert of my beloved El Paso now. But one of the things that I learned from my teachers at Fresno State, but really from the poetry of Philip Levine, he has this one poem that I teach in every single class called My Father with Cigarette 12 Years Before the Nazis Could Break His Heart, is imagistic repetition and sonic repetition. There's this moment at the end that just sings and has a weight of silence and song all at once. But that moment comes from all these repeating sounds he's done and rhythms, but also all these images of fire, moon, things that are shut or closed, smoke, as he's talking about Holocaust and the intimacy of two people in a room together in a dream. And he's bypassing time and going back and forth in space and time. What's pulling us through is the imagistic repetition and the sonic repetition. I teach my students all the time that if something is true on a local level, it's probably true globally. So if you know how to do something in a poem, you probably know how to do it in a book. And in a book, I found that it's when the demands of poetry, when the images that repeat, when the rhythms that repeat, when the space and the breath meet together into the emotional demands of content, when all that takes shape together, the rest of the work is just cultivating that. So I know it's a really long answer, but you asked me, how did I find like the material in my books? It's when I found those demands come together.